One of the most powerful features in Final Cut Pro 10 is the ability to do what's called variable speed changes, as opposed to constant speed changes, where when you do a constant speed change, like we just did on these first two clips, where you're applying a speed percentage over the entire clip, we want to be able to apply a variable speed change, let's say like 100% at the beginning, like 50% in the middle, 75% at the end, change the speed.
So ramping, speed ramping.
Speed ramping, or retiming. I like to call it variable speed because you are varying the speed over the course of the clip.
Okay.
So a good example of that, and by the way, you could do this in previous versions of Final Cut 10, and you could do it with the range selection tool. But now with this new command, there's no real reason to use the range selection tool because this is so much faster.
Cool, let's check
it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skim. I've got this shot of this helicopter. I'm just going to play it. It's at 100%. The helicopter is kind of doing an about face.
So this is like real time?
It's real time, 100%. And it's just taking a long time to get all the way around. And this is a perfect candidate for retiming because we want the helicopter to just kind of whip around really fast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the frame where I want to start the retime, which is about just as the helicopter starts to turn around. So about right here. I'm going to park my playhead there and show you where the command is in the retime menu. If I go to retime, there it is. It's called blade speed.
Blade speed, or shift B.
Yeah, keep that shortcut in mind because it's very important. Shift B. Then I'm going to move my playhead to the point, let's say here, what's about face, and I'm going to hit Shift B. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see what happens. So I'm going to zoom in, and you'll notice what happened is Final Cut actually created 3 separate speed segments. If I click on these bars, you'll notice there's 3 separate segments now.
And it hasn't changed the time of anything so far. All it did is kind of cut the clip, but it really created these separate speed segments that right now are each 100%.
Right. If I were to play this back right now, it would just play back normal, the same.
Yeah.
But we're going to make a speed change to the center of the clip, this segment here.
Where the helicopter's turning
Where
around.
the helicopter's turning. So the selection is already there, and you saw how I did that by clicking on the actual bar itself. Then I'm going to go over to the retime menu, and I'm going to choose, let's say, fast, and we're going to go 8x.
Okay.
Okay. So right now, it's at 100%. If I do 8 times, it should be
800%.
Yes, exactly. You're good at math. Very good. So 8x. And now, when I play this back, it plays at 100, and then when it gets to that speed segment, happens
Beautiful.
much faster. Now, I'm going to zoom in here because it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that that segment there is 800%.
It sure is. And there's also these like transparent bars on either side.
They are. These are new speed ramping controls, but I don't want to get ahead of myself yet.
Okay.
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to zoom into 800% because let's say I don't really like it at 800%. I want to change it to something a little faster or slower. I want to select this little chunk here and then hit Control Option R because that will bring up the custom speed window. And let's say I wanted it exactly 1,000%. This is what's great about this. I can apply custom speed changes to specific segments, not just the entire clip. Hit return, and you can see it now says 1,000.
Shrunk down. Yeah, 1,000%.
So now let me go ahead and zoom out just a little bit, and I'll play this back so you can see that just that little change in the custom window allows me to, now we have 100%.
1,000%.
Excuse me, yes, 1,000%. Thank you. Now you asked me about these little green bars here. These are essentially ease in and ease out controls for the speed.
Okay, so it doesn't suddenly go from 100% to 1,000%. It ramps into that 1,000%.
Basically, if you think, right, they're easing. Think of them as smoothing. You're smoothing in and out of the speed segments. And so right now, it's applying some sort of default smoothing. I can't tell what that smoothing is. All I could do is play with the effect of the smoothing by dragging these little
choosing
bars.
when it starts and when it ends.
Right, so for example, I'm dragging on this little olive bar here. The closer I drag it towards a segment, the less smoothing it's going to be. It's going to be much more abrupt.
Yeah, it's going to get from 1,000% down back to 100% over this short amount of time.
You exactly nailed it. Exactly.
Got it.
So the farther you drag it out, it's going to smooth it out, and it's going to make that transition happen much longer.
Over a longer period of time.
I'm going to go ahead and make these short on both sides so you can kind of see what this is going to look like.
Yeah, so just jumped right into that 1,000%.
Just jump right in there. So the bottom line is you can play with it. It's all about, it's very touchy-feely. It's like, all right, I kind of like that. I kind of don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, if it looks good, it is good kind of a thing. Okay? The other thing is you can also turn the smoothing off by double clicking on that little olive bar there. It'll actually bring up a speed transition window.
Oh, okay, check it out. So you can just disable it.
Right, you can just say, you know what, I don't want any transition at all. And at least on this out point, you'd have to do the same thing for the income, but at least on the out point, I've turned it off completely.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it back on. While we're here, there's this interesting thing called source frame. And let me go ahead and close this for a minute. So I'm playing this, and I like the action. I like how fast it happens, but I want to include more of this. I'd like the speed to happen all the way up until the nose is kind of pointing down towards Earth. I'd like to change the length of that speed segment without having to start from scratch.
Okay.
And this is where this source frame button comes in. So I just double clicked on the bar,
Yes.
and I click the edit source frame button, and I get this little film strip.
Okay.
And all I need to do is grab that little icon, little film strip, and I'm dragging and I'm locating a new source frame. So like right there. Let me explain what's happening here.
Great.
I have a speed segment, and let's say it's 5 seconds long. What I'm saying is that speed segment is exactly 1,000%. I want to grab a frame over here, but I don't want to change the current speed segment length. So I'm literally grabbing a frame over here and bringing it in, including it in that segment.
Okay. Are you like slipping the whole speed segment in time?
I don't like to use the word slip because
Okay.
it's not technically a slip. All you're doing is bringing, in this case, what I did was I brought a frame from later and brought it in earlier. That's all I'm
Okay.
doing.
So now it'll include that frame in the 1,000% speed.
That's right. So when I play this, you'll see now that 1,000% is including all the
Includes
way
that.
to nose.
But it also includes the starting one didn't change.
Starting one didn't change.
Okay, it just added more and more to the 1,000% segment until you hit that source frame.
That's right. And you have that on both sides. I just double clicked on the olive bar for the incoming.
Yes.
And you can also play with the source frame on that side as well. You can say, well, I really want the source frame to be here, or what have you. Just move it.
I see. So there's one on either side
There's
of it.
one on either side. So it's very, very flexible, very, very powerful to not only quickly change where your source frames are, but quickly change how you want the ramping or the smoothing to come in and out. It's just really, really nice.
You can pick the exact frame you want a speed change to kick in and how dramatic it kicks in.
That's right.
That's great. Very good combination of features with this smoothing and speed segments, this blade speed
Oh
function.
yeah, it's just fantastic.